Right, Jack, I'm going to take you right back to 1998. Peterborough United.
Yeah.
In the youth team, in the youth setup there. How did that come about? Why?
It's a bit of a strange one, really. Well, I suppose it wasn't. I was playing for my district team against the Peterborough district team. Got spotted, asked down for a trial. Done okay on the trial, and I suppose you could say the rest is history. Obviously done well, got my way in, and I had a good few years at Peterborough as a kid.
Was you living local at the time, or?
I was travelling in from Bedfordshire, so it wasn't too bad. Some days it was a bit tricky getting there after school. It was a bit of a mad rush, but it was worth the journey, and it was great to be there because the youth setup at the time was fantastic, and it really gave me a good ground in, and I suppose it taught me all the basics I learned in football, which are still part of my game today.
That was around the time, I suppose, of Matthew Everton, Simon Davies, or just after that, wasn't
Yeah,
it?
no, they were the big boys in the first team. Obviously, Matty made his debut at 15, didn't he? I think, and it was great to see them up close and personal as youngsters doing it for the first team, and I think that's what every young kid at Posh looked up to and wanted to do. And it was a bit of a shame when they got sold on to Spurs, but it just gave everyone a bit of a lift at the club and just made everyone think, right, look, they've done it, so why can't we?
Yeah, was it inspirational to yourselves at that age? Because obviously you're seeing it being done, you're seeing the youth getting a chance in the first team. You know, was that your mentality of thinking?
Yeah,
obviously young then. But
yeah, massively. I used to love going to the first team games. I used to ball boy behind the goal, get my hat stolen every now and then. But it was great, especially for Simon Davies for me, Welsh lad, playing in the first team and playing in centre midfield. It was great to watch, and for me, I used to watch him so closely. I didn't used to watch the games half the time. I used to watch what he was doing and try and sort of take some bits out of his game and then go do it as a 9 and 10-year-old on a Saturday.
At what age were you when you thought, you know, football is what I want to do, football is the route I want to go down?
I think it's every kid's dream as a youngster. I mean, even from the age of 9, 10, I was very fortunate enough to be at somewhere like Peterborough where if you were good enough, you got the opportunity. So I suppose even from that age, that was my dream, but you're so far away from it, you never quite realise that actually you can do it. And I suppose for me it probably wasn't until I was 16, 17 where I thought, right, I've got half a chance here, let's really have a go and see where it gets me. And I was very fortunate enough to do what I've done so far in the game, and hopefully I'm not finished just yet.
And to be in that situation as a kid, you need your family behind you, because obviously it's them that are taking you to the games week in, week out, and them that are putting the dedication and commitment into getting you to follow your dream. How supportive were your family?
Yeah, I was very fortunate. My dad was mad football. Used to take me down the park playing all the time, so from a young age I was always hassling him, so I suppose it was a nice break when I did get into a professional club that I was training so much that I didn't have to hassle him so much. And obviously with my mum's a very strong person, and she always supported me even though she didn't drive. It was a lot of time on the trains and getting lifts here, there and everywhere, but looking back now I suppose it made me what I am. It made me even hungrier to make sure I was at training, to make sure I was at the games, and it gave me a really good grounding and made me want to push on.
You went on from Posh to Cambridge. We'll try not to talk too much about that.
Yeah, no problem.
But did you get much stick for that? Because obviously the big rivalry, especially in them days.
Yeah, no, the rivalry was massive, and obviously at the time it was very weird going from wearing the Posh shirt to Cambridge shirt. Even in the young age groups there was a big rivalry then. I was fortunate enough a lot of my teammates followed with me, and the first few months making that transition from Peterborough to Cambridge was quite tricky, but I was lucky enough. Cambridge had a fantastic youth setup as well, and I'm very thankful for everything they done for me as well. So it's going to be a good game, the friendly on the 25th I believe, so looking forward to that one, and hopefully I'll get a good few minutes.
When the Cambridge youth setup dismantled, it sort of left you in no man's land really, didn't it? At that point, did you think, you know, that there was still a glimmer of hope? Did you have to fight harder to get your break into West Ham eventually? Yeah,
it was devastating. Everything I'd been doing and working towards was to make sure I got my scholarship at Cambridge, and then broke into the first team, and to hear they were closing down the youth system was horrible. Obviously it happened to me at Posh and happened at Cambridge, and I did have a few doubts. luckily for me, I had quite a few clubs sniffing round, so as soon as I knew West Ham were in the hunt, it was a no-brainer really, because the history of the young players they've brought through into the first team, I just thought, right, that's a bit of me. I don't know if I'm quite good enough, but I'll go have a try and do my best, and thankfully I was.
What was that like, going to such a huge club like West Ham from, say, Cambridge United, where you were at then? Or was there much different in the way they treat the young players?
Yes, it's very, very eye-opening. There was a big difference. I mean, I've gone from training at Cambridge, United, struggling for kit, just cramming on minibuses for away games, and all of a sudden I'm at West Ham. I moved up into a beautiful house in Chigwell, and the training ground was amazing. And I'm in waiting for breakfast, and in walks Teddy Sheringham. So it was a bit of a shock to the system. Luckily for me, I got out on the pitch, and as soon as the balls come out, I was just doing what I love. I was playing football, and it didn't matter if I was doing it at West Ham, if I was doing it at Cambridge, or if it was down the park. For me, it was all about just doing my best, playing football, and just seeing where it took me.
At what point was it there that you thought, I have got a future here? They are sniffing around me. They are wanting to progress me here, and I've probably got a chance to get in that first team.
So my first season at West Ham as a 17-year-old was very up and down. I'd done really well in parts, and then picked up a bit of an injury and missed quite a large part of the season. But as a second-year scholar, as an 18-year-old, I was made captain of the youth team, and eventually the reserve team as well, which was massive for me. I mean, I was playing games we had Mascherano at the time. I was playing centre mid alongside him, a captain as well. So it gave me a great sense of achievement, and just made me really want to push on into the first team. I have to say, Alan Pardew was fantastic with me at the time as well, really pushing me on, training with the first team most days, and to be in and around them sort of players day in, day out, it just made my game go from here to up here, and it was great.
Talk us through that, the day you got the nod to, you were on the team sheet for the first team for the first time. I mean, do you remember where you were and what was going on around you?
Yeah, no, it does make me smile, that story. I've been travelling quite a bit with the first team, and kind of felt like I was nowhere near getting on the bench, nowhere near getting there, but it was great to be travelling, and myself and James Tompkins were in the same position, and usual pre-match, we're coming back up to our rooms from pre-match, and Alan Kirbishley caught us in the lift, said, "Right boys, make sure you're ready, you're on the bench today." So we kind of grinned and smiled, and as soon as he got out of the lift we had a big celebration, big cuddle, and like we were over the moon. Got to the game, obviously warming up because we're both subs, loving it, getting abused by the Arsenal fans. You should be working in Tony and Guy was the shout, because we had some great hairdos, and before I knew it, Freddie Lundberg was coming off half hour into the game and I was going on. I think the last words were, "Try and get close to Fabregas," which is tricky for anyone, especially someone who'd never kicked a ball in the Premier League. But it's what you dream of, and there was no better place really to make my debut in front of a packed house at the Emirates, so it's great.
And how surreal is that? I mean, you can do all the training you like, but to actually get on that pitch, be against such quality like Arsenal at that time were unbelievable, weren't they?
Yeah.
So to be up against a team like Arsenal, was it what you expected it to be like?
For me, it didn't sink in really to the next few days. I mean, during the game, as I said, as soon as there's a football out there, I know exactly what I want to do. I want to try and do my best and do my bit. But as soon as the ball did go out of play, I did find myself pinching myself a little bit. But yeah, it was great. It's what you work day in, day out for. Even from a 9-year-old, that was my dream, to play in the Premier League, and fortunately I got to do it at 19 years old and on the biggest stage against some fantastic players. And as I mentioned already, it definitely took a few days to sink in, but for me it made me even hungrier for more. Talk us through the Wigan Athletic match in 2009,
obviously a sore point in your career. Talk us about what happened, and when it did happen, did you realise it was as serious as what it was?
I think so. I knew straight away. It was frustrating for me because I was loving my football. We were in a good team, doing well, playing under one of my heroes. 3 days before the Wigan game, I scored a winner against Man City at Upton Park. just scored the winner against City 3 days before at Upton Park, and they'd obviously been spending their money, so that was great. I was on top of the world, and then all of a sudden on a soggy pitch at Wigan on a Tuesday or Wednesday night, it was just went over on my knee, and I think I knew straight away it was a bad one. I could just tell it didn't feel right. Obviously in a lot of pain, and yes, I suppose that is kind of a big part of my career, which is unfortunate for me, but at the same time I feel blessed to have done what I have done so far.
What was the manager and your teammates like around you at the time? Were they supporting you? Were they encouraging?
Yeah, I had a good support group around me. I was very fortunate. I mean, Gianfranco Zola had a massive part to play in my career, not just sort of breaking me through to the first team and giving me the opportunity. He was my idol, the person I looked up to, and for me personally, he really worked on my game, which was massive for someone like me. So when I did get the injury, they were all there, which was good. My teammates were fantastic, but at the end of the day, it's down to you and you as an individual, and it did take a long while to try and get it right. There were long days, very hard days, and thankfully I did manage to get back and get some more games under my belt in the Premier League.
Yeah, he didn't give up on you, did he?
No, he stuck with me. Yeah, no, he did stick by me, and for me personally, and I know a lot of the boys at the time felt the same. It was a shame when he parted ways with West Ham, because what he was doing to the club was just brilliant. Everyone loved being there, loved training, and it wasn't just the players, it was the staff. And I feel if they would have stuck with him a little bit longer, he would have got West Ham through the tricky part.
Did it change the dynamics of the squad there?
But when he left, yeah, I think whenever a new manager comes in, it always changes. A lot of them bring in different people with them, and for me, I missed a lot of the time under Avram Grant, which was possibly a good thing because the team were really struggling. I mean, my first game back after my long layoff from the operation, we actually got relegated once again at Wigan away, so not great memories at that ground. But yeah, I suppose them tough times and them tricky times, they make you want to succeed even more.
How was Avram towards you compared to Gianfranco?
Yeah, very, very different. I mean, for me, I pretty much missed his whole time in charge. The one game I did play, as I said, was the Wigan game, the day we got relegated and he got sacked. Being an injured player, they do try and make you feel part of it, but you're not. You're very alone. You're in your own sort of group, and you get that focus on. You get to set them targets, and then you go about every day just being an individual and trying to get to where you've got to be.
When it came to leaving West Ham, obviously they weren't looking to extend your contract. How tough was that? How bitter was that pill to swallow?
Yeah, I think it's tough for any player to know that you're not really wanted. For me, on a personal level, I kind of saw it coming as the manager had let me go out on loan towards the end of the season. So for me, in my head, I knew if I was part of his future plans that he probably wouldn't have let me go out on loan. And for me, missing so much of my time for injury, I'm not the sort of person who could sit around collecting his money and being happy playing reserve football and just training every day. I wanted to test myself, so that's why I pushed for the loan and tried to get out, and unfortunately it didn't go quite to plan at Wigan. I was struggling a bit injury wise, and we were close to getting promoted. We lost in a semi-final of the FA Cup and didn't quite get promotion to the Premier League. So
isn't it ironic that you went to Wigan?
Yeah, no, it is strange, but
wasn't that in the back of your mind?
No, I know, but to be fair, I did enjoy my time there. I enjoyed playing under Uwe Rosler. I think he's a fantastic manager, and he's definitely got a big future in the game. So yeah, it was a tricky time once again, but as I said, I'm not the sort of player who wants to sit around. I would rather get out there and try and get some game time.
But you were loving life at West Ham. The fans were loving you at West Ham. To be in that situation where you think, you know, I'm not favoured by the gaffer. You know, I don't just want to sit around and get a paycheck. I want to play football. How difficult is that for you as a player? Because obviously you must have a part of your mind that thinks, listen, if I stay and try and prove myself, maybe I'll get a chance to get in. But then on the other hand, you're thinking, well, listen, it's not paying me much attention, so I've got to do something.
It's a very tricky situation. Who knows, if I was a bit more patient, if I waited around another month, I might have got back in his team. But I felt at the time I wanted to get out. I was training well, and I just felt like I wanted to get out there and try and prove myself on a Saturday, which is obviously the most important time for a footballer. It's okay being the best player in training, but no one sees that. You want to go and test yourself against other players and show what you can do. So I have no regrets in anything I've done, and I had a good time at West Ham. I enjoyed my run, and as you mentioned, I had a fantastic relationship with the fans, which was obviously nice for me.
In 2014 you go off on loan to Ipswich Town. Difficult situation, I suppose, for you. You didn't really get a chance there. Was this through your injury?
Yeah, it was. Unfortunately, I wasn't quite right. I was trying to sort of battle on through an injury, which looking back I probably shouldn't have done. I must say Ipswich were fantastic with me, especially Mick McCarthy and his staff. They battled along with me and tried to get me out there, but at the end of the day it wasn't right. I knew in my head I wasn't right, and I wasn't doing myself justice out there on the pitch. And yeah, I've got good memories of Ipswich. I was gutted when they didn't go up last year, but it'd be nice to play them in pre-season in a few weeks when I am fit, and hopefully show them that I am a good player.
When it comes to leaving Ipswich, I suppose you were at a bit of a crossroads then. What was your mentality like at that point? Because obviously, listen, you're a footballer, you probably wanted to get straight back into a club, but at the same time you've got to think, well listen, I've got to recover, I've got to I've got to mend myself.
I think Ipswich was a risk, and I think it got to a point where I had to say to myself, right, this is your future. You can't go on, and if you're out there training and you know you're not doing what you can do, it's frustrating. So for me, I had to take the time out. I had to try and get myself right and get myself better. And I knew if I worked hard, I could get to a situation where I was able to go out there and play football and do well on a Saturday. And I think you can see from the way I am when I am out on the pitch now, I just can't wait to get going again.
Well, you've had time, obviously, in that period to set up your own soccer schools.
Yeah.
I mean, talk us through that. I mean, was coaching always in the back of your mind, or was it something that's just really...
I think for me, I just love playing football, and if I can't play, I want to be part of it. And it's been a nice release, you could say, going out there and doing the soccer schools. It's been great out there coaching the kids and joining in the games. It's great just to see them out there enjoying football and just playing for the love of the game without all the politics and without being polluted. They just want to kick a ball about and run about, and it gives me a bit of a buzz to know that I'm giving something back to the kids, and it's something that I'm looking to continue. Even though I am back playing, I still want to be involved as much as I possibly can.
How many kids have you got involved in the Jack Collison soccer schools now, and how many of them do you feel can go, all the way? Yeah, no,
that's our aim. I mean, we cater to all ages, all abilities, and all genders. Anyone's welcome to come and have a go. And I mean, in Easter we had over 200 kids come through over the couple of weeks, which was great. And obviously summer's coming up now, so we're hoping for more of the same. Fortunately for me, I'm in a lucky position where if I do find one or two good kids, that I do have the contacts to try and push them on into better places, and if we can find one diamond in the rough, it'll be fantastic. So far we've had a few down at MK Dons, which is obviously good for them and it's good for us. So if we can help mentor any kids and give them a bit of advice and a bit of guidance, that's kind of what we're looking to do.
So when did you decide that you were ready for another club?
I very nearly had a go towards the end of the season last year, but I thought I've worked so hard over the past few months, I didn't want to have a setback. And I knew if I got it right, I could have a good summer, good pre-season, and by the start of this season coming up, that I would be ready, and I know I can do it again on a Saturday, which is the main thing. It's great that obviously Peterborough come in, and once I met the gaffer and heard about his plans and his visions for the club, it was quite an easy decision. I want to be part of it. I want to be part of taking this club forward, and for me, I'm just looking forward to getting out there and playing football.
How do you feel now physically? Because obviously you've always done it mentally, and I know you want to play football. And
yeah,
it's what you do. But how do you feel physically now?
Yeah, I feel good. I feel the best I've felt in a long while, which is good for me, and obviously hopefully good for Peterborough as a club. They've obviously shown a lot of faith in me, taken a bit of a gamble, you could say, but in my eyes it's not a gamble. They're easing me in slowly, which is obviously good. They don't want to chuck me in at the deep end and see me fail. They've got a great setup here, so hopefully I'll be eased in more and more over the next few weeks, and come the 8th of August against Rochdale, I'll be out there fully fit and firing.
Do you see yourself ready for the start of the season? Is that what your aim is?
Yeah, that's the aim. I've got August the 8th in my head, so that's what I'm working towards, and we've still got another sort of 4 or 5 weeks, so I should be right. And over the next few friendly games, I think you'll see me getting more and more minutes and hopefully dusting off the cobwebs, and I'll be out there playing football and doing well.
You've had a few weeks with the lads now. How have you found the crop of players that we have here and the quality that we have within it?
Yeah, I've been really impressed. Speaking to the manager and speaking to Grant before I did sign, he said, look, we've got a really good group of young players. I feel we need a bit more experience in there, so we feel you fit the role perfectly, and that's music to my ears. I always find working with younger players, they seem hungry, they want to succeed, they've got that desire, and obviously what's pleasing for me is they've got the ability. They've been brilliant out there this week, everyone's been working hard, and over the games, it was a great game on Saturday of West Ham, and big game tomorrow, and obviously Tottenham on Saturday, so hopefully we'll keep progressing as a team, as individuals, and we'll get off to a good start.
The gaffer gave you a few minutes to come on for that game against West Ham. How was that for you? Was it strange?
I was itching to get on, wasn't I? Oh, I couldn't wait. Yeah, it was strange how it worked out that my first game in a Posh shirt was against West Ham. Obviously the club I hold very dearly. So yeah, it was nice. It was good to get a reception off. Obviously the West Ham fans, I've got many good memories with them, and for the Posh fans, hopefully we'll have a few good memories this season, and at the end of the season we're going to be celebrating getting promotion to the Championship.
You're out here in Ireland in fantastic settings. I mean, we're not here in my living room, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But how have you found this week? With the lads and the work that you've been doing.
Yeah, it's been great. I mean, if you can't come to a place like this and get in some good work, then I don't know what's wrong with you. I mean, the facilities are fantastic. Everything's been done right from the very beginning, and I think that's what the manager wants to do. He wants to set his stall out, say this is how it's going to be this season, and it's up to the boys to adapt and do well. But I mean, we've got lots of good work in. Good game tomorrow, couple of days, and then we go again against Spurs on Saturday, so I'm sure the team's going to be looking to evolve, looking to make small improvements, tweaks here and there, and most important, the big game on the 8th of August, we want to get off to a good start.
Are you as hungry now as the day you was when were in your unbelievably prime at West Ham, enjoying yourself, enjoying your football?
I think I'm even hungrier now. I feel like I've got a point to prove. I know in my head I can do it, and for me, I want to prove a lot of people wrong. Go out there and do the business and show that I am a good player. I can still do it at a good level, and as I said, I want to be a big part of taking this club forward. I
mean, you've signed a year contract. I mean, do you see past that? I mean, listen, if everything goes well here and you're happy here, would you sign for longer?
Yeah, of course I would. I suppose I'll have to have a word with the chairman after a couple of games, see how I'm getting on, but no, for me, I think first and foremost I need to get myself fit, get my head down, do well in the games, and I think the rest takes care of itself.